So this is going to be a fun one. I had a coworker, friend of mine, found this camera in an antique shop and she picked it up for me. I'm so glad. I'm so grateful. And I said, this has got to be really old. I mean, it's beat up. It's a little worn. So in my head, I'm thinking, this may be more of a display piece. It's one of these fold-out ones, which I absolutely love. I think they look so cool. It just, reminds me of real photography back in the day, big setup like that. I like the little stand. I've never seen these stands. So it just stands up. And I thought, okay, I'm just gonna put that on one of my shelves up there. It's gonna be nice. And I got it home and I'm looking closer and the bellows are completely light tight. I shined a bright light in there. I couldn't see any light leaks. I said, okay, well, what about the shutter? The shutter sound like it's actually firing, and it is. I looked through like at a ceiling light, and I could see the quick flash with the shutter. I'm like, wait a minute now. So we're going to test this. What we have here is a #1 pocket Kodak Series 2 camera here. And upon looking it up, this camera was made from 1922 to 1931. And in the back of here are all patent dates, and the latest one on here is, let me just double check I remember the year, but I want the full date here. It is November 13th, 1923. So for all intents and purposes, this is a 100-year-old camera that she found. And it may look 100 years old, but the functionality seems to be all still there. So I'm going to shoot this thing, and I'm really excited. We're going to throw in Ilford FP4. I love that film. It's 125 speed film. So let me tell you about what we got going on here. So first of all, the viewfinder is a prism, and it folds one way and folds the other way depending on how you're holding the camera. And that's interesting. That's going to take some getting used to, because you have to you can't just right up close. You have to find that perfect balance, and then you can kind of see through it. And the glass is pretty pitted. You give it a century old, it's gonna be. But the lens looks like it's in perfect shape. Clean that up nicely. The shutter speed will go from 100 to 50 to 25 to 10th of a second to bulb. And the f-stops, we've got 7.7 to 11 to 16 to 22 up to 32. That's the highest f-stop that I've ever worked with. That's high. The focus ring will go from 5 feet to 100 feet to infinity and beyond. Looks like also this door back here really had me confused. I was like, why would there be a little trap door in here? Apparently, Kodak released from, I'm on Camerapedia here. From 1914 to 1934, Kodak released an autographic roll film, and that these actually came with a stylus, so you could apparently write something directly on the film. Strange, but long discontinued. 1934 was the last you ever saw that. So we'll just keep that little trapdoor shut. Then it'll just use standard 120 film, which is really good, because I thought it might be one of those 620 or whatever it is that are a little bit more of a pain in the ass, because you've got to adjust the rings to fit it correctly. So everything seems to be working. The shutter seems to be firing. The only thing is, I was cleaning it, as you do, with a lens cloth, being all gentle, cleaning the glass, cleaning it. I got to where the little red piece of plastic was on the back, where you can see the film numbers, and as soon as I touched it with the lens cloth, it just disintegrated. The plastic just into nothing. So, okay. Not going to let that stop us. I hate that happened, but here's the workaround I came up with. I'm going to take a Koken filter, a deep red one. We're just going to lay that inside. I'll put a little electrical tape or something to hold it in place, and that should do the trick. That should get us by. Not going to let that little mishap stop me. So, this is exciting to shoot a 100-year-old camera and see what we get. I'm thoroughly excited about this. So let me show you the vlog part. We'll see how it goes. And I guess if nothing comes out, this is going to be a short video. But if we get some good stuff, we'll come back here and see if there's anything to Photoshop or just talk about it. We'll see how it goes. So we're out here in like this, I don't know, it's like this Main Street area in town near me. It kind of sucks, I'm just being honest, but I thought it might have some shots for this thing. Also, the other thing I'm thinking about is, okay, the gears in this are really old. The springs, whatever makes it fire at, say, 1/100th of a second. I'm kind of underexposing every shot. Like, okay, I think F16 would be good. I'm hitting it to F22. You know, if it's super bright and F22 would have been it, well, luckily this sucker goes up to 32. So I'm underexposing just a little bit because I have a feeling that, yeah, the spring is firing, the shutter's firing, but is it really 1/100th of a second anymore? It's probably a little slower, so it's probably going to be a little overexposed if I don't try to compensate. I'm not basing this on anything that I've seen or can test. I'm just basing it on probability of 100 years old. Probably is going to be firing a little slower than what it should be. This is a cool shot, if I can get it to come out right. I dropped it down to, I don't know, like 14 feet. Still at 100th of a second because I don't trust it to go any lower. Trying to F11. The shot was literally right behind me. I turned around and then there was this. I think this will look cool with the fire escape. Oh, pardon. We will go all the way to F32. I want this tree in the foreground. And this lamp. Well, so that was weird. You know, I did shot 8 and I'm rotating, and to my surprise, suddenly the roll's over. Not gonna lie, my heart was kind of set on 12 shots today, and you know, I had some stuff, like I was looking down the road, I was like, oh, there's something else I'm gonna get as soon as I get this shot, and then the roll was over. Sad story is what it is. But I've got to put it in the mail, and obviously something has come out if you're seeing this video, because if nothing came out and it was all blank, I wouldn't have bothered with the video. So something came out if you're watching this. But let's jump to the office now and let's talk about the results. So we got a little bit of a change of plans here. Hopefully you can hear me. The wind's not blowing my microphone too much. I had to come back out with this camera and do, 8 more photos. Now that I know there's 8, didn't realize there were. So I didn't know there weren't 12 shots. I thought it, because I'm used to shooting any other medium format camera I've shot, I've gotten 12 shots out of. I didn't realize this sucker was shooting 6x9, which is awesome. And I guess people probably look at the camera and they say, well, duh. I mean, the view thingy's up there instead of in the center. That's what that means. Well, I didn't realize that. So, learning experience. I was doing I had this guy around f22 to f32 at times at 100th of a second, and I guessed that, okay, a century-year-old, chances are the spring's mechanism is probably a little slower than that. So it could be firing maybe 80th of a second or so. So, you know, compensated a little bit for it. You know, the only light meter I have was on my phone. Obviously nothing on here. It worked. I mean, it was exactly the exposures I needed. It was perfect, which is why with those results, I had to get right back out with this camera, give another 8 shots. As you can see, I'm back in that old area that I've shot a few times. A few episodes back, I missed the shot with the Salida Jr. of the blacksmith building. It kind of cut it off, so I want to get it with this. That's the only thing I'm struggling with, is that weird prism viewfinder is kind of, that's something else, but just the results of this, I'm so excited. And so same thing is loaded back in the camera, FP4, and I'm going to get a couple more shots. I don't think I'm going to do all here or anything. This is where I wanted to start, because I know I wanted that shot of the blacksmith with the sign not cut off this time, which is going to be even more harder to frame with this guy, but we'll see if we can get this. So I'm glad that it's completely overcast right now, so that's good, because there's going to be some sky in the shot, and I think if it was bright, it would mess with my exposure. But I think I'm going to do f16, even though it's, well, it is pretty damn cloudy. 100ths at f11. We'll see what happens here. Wow. What a camera. What a well-crafted, fantastic camera. Everything came out awesome. Every single shot. I mean, some of them were just badly framed because I've got to get used to that little prism thing. That's tough. I'm glad I exposed it. I didn't go with exactly what the light meter was saying on the phone, and I kind of just went a little darker than I think, because I thought it was going to underexpose a little. I'm just so happy with everything about this camera. The shots are awesome. Again, I didn't know. I thought it was 6x6. I mean, people probably are yelling, well, the thing's up here, duh, it's not 6x6. I didn't know that. I've never shot on a medium format that wasn't 6x6. So apparently if it's in the center, you're going to be 6x6. Up here means 6x9. So big wide shots, 8 frames. Makes you really think about what you're going to take a shot of. If you only got 8. It's a lot different from the 36 in a 35mm, and you're just firing away. But wow, the shots are awesome. I'm planning on going on a trip to Chimney Rock in North Carolina, and I was going to bring a 35mm camera. I don't know which one yet. Toss up between the Rebel G and the T70. But I'm going to bring this guy too. I'm going to bring the 100-year-old camera and just see what kind of mountain photography I can get. And there's a waterfall there. See what I can get. Probably more FP4. It just works for me. But all in all, how awesome is this? 100-year-old camera found in an antique place, and it works great. Super excited. I love it. I'm going to shoot more with it, and I'm just ecstatic about the whole thing. What an awesome find. So thanks guys for watching. Like, subscribe, Etsy store, all that kind of good stuff, and I will see you on the next episode. I knew this was going to happen with this microphone. I forgot to turn it on until now.